for maybe that right. All of a sudden, bang, and a big left by Hemphill, right square on the jaw of McCreedy. I got to tell you something. Right now, there are times, and
left
down
hook to the
goes
body.
McCreedy with what is it is not a smart fight that Irish Joe McCreedy is at here in the third round. Down he goes again from another shot.
His mouth seems to be bothering him.
I think it's that blood in the mouth that is now coming out on the ring apron. Joe versus the Heat. Over. There is a short, and I should say that very easily, a short height reach for Hemphill. He's only got a couple of inches there, max. He also has a couple of pounds in weight. He's got a big reach advantage over McCreedy. So it'll be a tough fight for McCreedy. He will learn something, undoubtedly, by the time all is said and done with Edward Hemphill. Let's throw it up to our ring announcer, Wayne Swords.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 4 rounds of light heavyweight action. Introducing first, in the red corner, from Lowell, Massachusetts, at 172 3/4 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, Joseph McCreedy. And in the blue corner, he hails from Woodbridge, Virginia, at 178 pounds, Edward Hemphill.
6 rounds of boxing between these two fighters. I got to tell you, here's another young man that I'm very impressed when I get a chance to see him, Mike. Irish Joe McCreedy, 4-month layoff for the young man, but he still has a tremendous amount of potential.
Yeah, he was severely cut in his last fight. He had to lay off to let that heal. It's all healed up. But he is thinking about moving down to super middle, and I think that is a better division for him, especially at his height. He can afford to. I think he can afford to carry that weight better than dealing with the guys that are in the 170s and 180s. Hemphill is coming off a real good win in his last fight, and he won a 4-round decision over an undefeated fighter. So he feels like he's coming along. His 5-5 record. The word on him is when he's in shape, and he seems to be tonight, he's a real tough fighter.
I want to correct myself. This fight was originally scheduled for 6 rounds, but it is now a 4-round bout between the two. Edward Hemphill, who you really will not know a whole lot about, but this will be the 8th fight this year. He's gone 2-4-1 this year, and this will be the 6th state that he has fought in.
Not only that, but it's the 3rd fight in a month for the guy.
I think that brings up a new meaning to the word journeyman. But he's a tough fighter. I mean, this is not a guy who just gets off the plane and goes looking for a paycheck.
Yeah, even though he's based out of Virginia, he's a real Philly-style fighter, and he grew up in Philly. So he brings that legacy to the ring with him.
McCreedy has stayed inside a little too often here, and he's paid for it on the way back out. But McCreedy is just that kind of a fighter. Joe will just put the gloves to his head. He'll stick in and wait for an opening. And while he's getting a lot of shots that sound good, a lot of those high shots are bouncing off Hemphill's gloves.
Hemphill obviously is trying to take this round to see what exactly he has in front of him, trying to figure out the style. As a left hooker, he knows he's going to be able to throw that punch, but he needs to know when to throw it. So right now he's looking at McCreedy and trying to figure out when is the right time to throw the punch.
Hemphill, too, is impressive because what I like in a fighter is when you can watch their legs, watch them plant, and see if the power comes from the floor up. And he's one of those fighters.
In terms of styles, these fighters match up real well.
Here comes Irish Joe. McCreedy snuck inside with a right. A left that paid for its way on the way out.
You can see Hemphill just tie him up on the inside. That's just the sign of an experienced guy.
McCreedy will not long distance you if he can. Wow, there was a big right hand, followed up with a good left. Now he works inside. Stumbled Hemphill with a right hand. And Hemphill now trying to hang tough inside, trying to keep himself on balance.
Yeah, well, Hemphill invited that punch by dropping his left. Even though McCreedy was on the outside, he looped it over the top because he saw that Hemphill had dropped his left and it was wide open and he got clubbed for it. the heat seems to have recovered now. You're stunned a little bit.
I think the biggest problem that Joe is having thus far is keeping his trunks up. He's spending more time on that. Good exchange coming out. Good stick left by Hemphill as we come towards the end of round one. And a glancing left from Irish Joe. First round is over. We're back with more on Battle Zone Boxing. Always nice for the rounds to begin in attractive fashion. This was not attractive for one fighter, and certainly maybe not for Hemphill, because McCreedy had a nice flurry.
Yeah, McCreedy had stunned him a little bit, and he immediately went on the offensive.
So now we're back to live action. Second round of a scheduled 4 between these two.
Hemphill, to me, looks like he's starting to get the distance with Joe. He's using his jab and his left hook, and as you can see there, McCreedy just can't reach him.
Going to have to bring the shots up there because actually a low blow, and then McCreedy caught Hemphill just with a glancing shot on the way out. McCreedy hurt himself a gash on his right eyelid that led to a no contest fight against Jeffrey Osborne earlier this year. He was back in the gym, though, just a couple of weeks. Good left hand by Hemphill.
The left hooks to the body are hurting Joe.
Wow. Solid right hand that came up from McCreedy.
But the bigger damage has been done to McCreedy. He's really hurt to the body. If Hemphill could keep him off, as he's trying to do here.
Doing a nice job staving off the blows that are coming in high.
When McCreedy holds his hands up, he's a different fighter. When he drops him, he gets hit. It's as simple as that.
Hemphill now, I believe, knows what he can hurt McCreedy with. It's a matter now of waiting for the opening, which an experienced boxer will do. Oh, 2 solid lefts to the head of McCreedy.
Yeah, and then he dipped down with a left hook again to the body. That's that Philly heritage. Left hooks. Tough to defend as well.
McCreedy is burrowing in and does a nice job when he gets in close. But then on his way out, he's leaving himself much too open. And Hemphill knows that he can take advantage.
In the clinches, Hemphill seems to have a little bit more experience. What he does is he ties him up and he moves him back. McCreedy doesn't realize he's getting pushed back.
Oh, that was a good left that get right through the defense of McCreedy. The 2 trade punches, but Hemphill is the one who started that with a good loping uppercut. McCreedy managed to put his gloves actually on Hemphill's face for a moment there, but it didn't do any damage.
McCreedy knows what he's got to do. He's got to get in the inside. He's the smaller guy. He's working hard. He's fighting through the flurries. And he's trying to do damage, which is an important thing.
However, I will tell you that except for maybe that right, all of a sudden, bang, and a big left by Hemphill, right square on the jaw of McCreedy. Right at the end of the second round, stuns Irish Joe. We're back with more after this. Stone, the veteran trainer.
You're trying to do a body shot straight in front of him, step over.
To your left. Just give him the right advice.
Basically telling him what we have noticed here after 2 rounds of boxing. McCreedy, in only his 6th professional fight, is against a guy who is in his 12th fight. And while there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference there, there is no doubt that the more polished fighter here, taking advantage of more openings, is Edward Hemphill.
Yeah, now we're getting to the spot where the short notice that he had to prepare for this fight, even though he has been active, is going to start to take its toll. McCreedy is a well-conditioned guy. You can see that. And will Hemphill get tired? That's really the question.
Looks to be a little blood inside the mouth of Irish Joe. Hemphill again with a left hand that got through the gloves.
Right uppercut snuck in there, too.
Hemphill doing a very good job of setting himself up for the punches, when in many ways it would seem that McCreedy is being more reactive than proactive.
Yeah, Hemphill has an idea of what he wants to do. But he also is creative enough that he'll vary it depending on what McCready's doing. McCready is a stalker type of fighter. He's coming in, and that's his method. He doesn't really bring much more besides aggressiveness. Keeps his hands up, and then when he gets inside, he's a heavy puncher. So Hemphill has a few more tricks in the bag, but overall they're still pretty evenly matched up because of the flaws that each one shows.
Hemphill, though, is doing an excellent job from a distance. McCready will do his damage from in close. Hemphill, though, is able to hold him at arm's length, and he's able to pop off a couple of good shots.
Yeah, he understands where he's got to be, which is at a distance. You can see right there, he just stuck him and kept him away. But then what he does is he sits down on his punches, he looks to throw power. And that's how he landed the right hand uppercut before and the left hook, which he landed just again there.
There is certainly a difference in style, but a difference in experience that we're seeing here. Welt that has begun underneath the right eye of McCready, who has his head snapped by a left from Hemphill.
Yeah,
I got to tell you something. Right now, there are times, and
left
down
hook to the
goes
body.
McCready with what is a thought by some to be low blow, but it was fully square.
McCready was hurt earlier in the fight with a left hook to the body. He never really recovered from it. That one landed in the same spot. It hurt him. And Hemphill knows what he has to do.
There are moments when, for Edward Hemphill, this is target practice. It is not a smart fight that Irish Joe McCready is at here in the third round. Down he goes again from another shot.
His mouth seems to be bothering him.
I think it's that blood in the mouth that's now coming out on the ring apron. Over. It's over.
He told the referee, stop it, stop it.
It's over.
I think he
stopped
realized
the fight
that was
after
it.
listening to Joe McCready, and McCready, I don't think, could catch his breath because of the blood in his mouth. And Edward Hemphill, who comes in here, the Heat from Woodbridge, Virginia, who was a last-minute replacement, hands Joe McCready his first defeat. And now there's some concern over Irish Joe.
Yeah, I mean,
a very beaten young man.
As we said going into the fight, if Hemphill is in shape, he's a tough guy. He's been taking a lot of fights on short notice. Here he obviously wasn't good enough condition that he could handle McCready's aggressiveness, and that left hook seems to have really done some damage.
Here we go again and looking at what Hemphill had delivered. Now again,
yeah, you can see. Look
distance.
at the distance between the two. I mean, it's just too much. Joe McCready cannot fight at that distance.
It was a big body shot. That left hand is the one that some people who were sitting behind us thought might have been a low blow, but as you saw from there, it was a solid shot to the body, and that's what actually started McCready going down. Battle Zone Boxing continues after this.
Your winner by knockout at 2:47 of round 3, Edward Hemphill.
Edward Hemphill comes in here and stuns everybody. We'll be back and we'll talk with the winner right after this on Battle Zone Boxing. In Sun Casino, no longer undefeated, the young man from New England. Who beat him? Mike DeLisa's in the ring with the winner, Edward Hemphill. Mike?
Andre, third time's the charm. Third fight in a month. You got your knockout. What did you see there in the ring?
3 undefeated fighters. All 3 undefeated fighters.
Okay, so where do you go from here? What's the next for you?
Oh, man, sky's the limit, man. Just, whatever my team, Power Productions, back in Philly, let me do. You know what I mean? All I'm here to do to fight and perform good, Okay.
Short notice. What you looked a little winded at the start of the third, and yet you ended it there. You need to get a little better shape, or you're good at your weight, or what's the story?
I mean, I took the fight on 4-day notice. You know what I mean? But I got to believe my power and my jab, my hooks to the body. I knew he was going to pay dividends because he want to come out strong. He want to be a strong fighter. But the jab offset that, and instead of my body shots.
First round, you dropped the left. He came over with a big right. Did that punch hurt you?
Actually, he never hurt me at all. He hit me with some good shots, but I've been in there with some tough fighters. You know what I mean? He's a tough kid, too, but he need to polish up a little bit more and learn how to work behind the jab instead of using so much power early.
Okay, well, listen, thanks a lot. We appreciate your performance here tonight, and good luck to you in the future.
All right, thank you. I love y'all. Thank you.
There's no doubt he loves everybody, especially when he comes up from Virginia and goes home with a win that some would call rather surprising. We're back with more boxing right after this.